see what's on that screen, but I don't see anything. Five. It's fine. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. unmute on OBS.
Both channels?
Should be the top one.
Okay.
The call channel. Unmute.
What?
You have to unmute your microphone in Teams too.
Me?
Or maybe not, I don't know.
It sounds?
All I'm getting is my audio.
I have to unmute my microphone maybe? Shouldn't have to. Did I get an audio? Alright, what the hell's the deal?
All I'm getting is this. That's the only sound I'm getting is me talking to you.
That's wrong input. I have to use the desktop.
Liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and at this time, I would like to make an adjustment to the agenda to act on miscellaneous K, which is a resolution to waive any requirement in District Policy 006.1 regarding attendance of board members. The policy, as it states, requires that we have at least 5 board members at the advertised location of the meeting. But due to the governor's order and social distancing requirement, we're going to waive that segment of the policy and conduct the meeting as long as we have a majority or a quorum available electronically. So could I have a motion to approve the item miscellaneous K?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussions, concerns, or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. And Mr. Enders, could we do a roll call on this as well?
Sure. Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mrs. Dobler,
Yes.
Mrs. Grant,
Yes.
Mr. Kinley,
Yes.
Mrs. Petrosky,
Yes.
Mrs. Stemler,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you, Mr. Enders. We'll move on to approval of minutes. Actually, let's step back just a little bit, just to announce that we had an executive session prior to the regular meeting for legal purposes. And personnel. Okay, we'll move on to approval of minutes. Looking at the minutes of February 10th and February 24th, 2020. I have a motion to approve.
I've got a correction to number February 24th.
We have to have a motion to approve before we can.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, questions, concerns? Mr. Kinley?
On the February 24th minutes on the election of president, the roll call vote showed 5 yeses and 3 noes instead of 4, and 3 is listed in the minutes.
Yeah, you want to do that tomorrow yet or what?
Who was the other no?
The no's are correct, but I think, the yeses are 5 instead of 4. It has everybody's name listed with a yes or no, and then the next line says 4 yes and 3 no. I think it should be 5 yes.
I believe you are correct.
Oh, I see what you're talking about.
Yes, the number of the people up above is correct. But the number down below where it says the vote was 4 yes, 3 no, it should be 5 yes, 3 no.
Okay.
Good catch, Wayne.
You got that, Ben?
Yep, I'll have it corrected.
So we'll be acting on February 10th and February 24th as corrected.
Mr. Allen?
Anything else? Yes?
Mr. Kenyon is recommending that you roll call all your votes just so we can record everyone's vote, since it'll be a little harder to tell this way.
I agree. Okay, and so any other discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote on approval of minutes of February 10th and February 24th.
Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard, Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mrs. Dobler, Mrs. Dobler,
Yes. You can't hear me?
Mrs. Grant,
Yes.
Mr. Kinley,
Yes.
Mrs. Petrosky,
Yes.
Mrs. Stemler,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
I know.
Okay, move on to the treasurer's report. We have the February 2020 treasurer's report and the February 2020 investment report. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Can we identify who made the motion, please?
I made one. I don't know. There was somebody else talking.
All right.
I'll second.
And Wayne?
Okay. Thank you. Any questions, concerns, or corrections? Okay, hearing none, we have a roll call on the treasurer and the investment report. Mr. Enders.
Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mrs. Dobler,
Yes.
Mrs. Grant,
Yes.
Mr. Kinley,
Yes.
Mrs. Petrosky,
Yes.
Mrs. Stemler,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
I know.
Okay, moving on to approval of bills. Approval of bills of $3,508,828.92. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Who was first?
Dave Becker was first.
Got it.
And second, Harry?
Yes.
Okay.
Any concerns, questions, or corrections? Okay, hearing none. Roll call, Mr. Enders.
Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mrs. Dobler,
Yes.
Mrs. Grant,
Yes.
Mr. Kinley,
Yes.
Mrs. Petrosky,
Yes.
Mrs. Stemler,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
and I know.
Okay, move on to communications. Do we have anything, Dr. Dady?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that I just need to update not only the board but the whole community on. One of those being that we are still offering food to anyone 18 and under. Currently, that's being offered at Avis Elementary School, Saldaysburg Elementary School, and Jersey Shore Elementary. The times for that distribution is 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The governor's orders recently have not changed that. We've been given direction from Pedro Rivera through Governor Wolf that that is to continue. A big thank you goes out to our volunteers and our food service workers that have been making that happen. That part is going to continue. I will tell everyone that we are looking at next week with the school closures being extended. Those school closures today were announced at 2 p.m. That school closures will continue for, right now, all school staff to April 7th, and for students, that would be April 9th. So the earliest students will be back in school is April 9th right now. But we are going to limit, in order to limit the exposure that we are putting out there, those distributions will occur next week, starting on Monday and Wednesday, but we will be passing out enough food on those days for all 5 days. So on Monday, we will distribute to every 18-year-old and under child. They will get 2 meals that day. And then on Wednesday, they will be given 3. That way we're still passing out the same amount of food for these kids, but not as many pickup times. And we are also have applied to extend the locations. And I'm not going to say that what those locations are yet until we get approval, because I don't want people showing up to those locations yet. But if and when we get those approvals, those will be posted on our website. And so there may be additional locations we can distribute to next week. For the rest of this week, it will be as it has been. It will be every day. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week from 11 to 1 at our 3 elementary schools. You can come to any of those 3 elementary schools. We've been continuing to work with the PA Central Food Bank and Love Center in regards to the backpack program as well. So if your child gets one of the food backpacks for the weekend, those are being distributed at the schools as well. So please come on Friday and make sure those get picked up. And I believe that is all of the updates for now. Mr. Allen?
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Dady.
Oh, one more thing I will say, Mr. Allen, is I need parents to be watching out that on hopefully Wednesday there will be links on our sites, on our district website, for kids and families to be able to go to in order to see activities that we're going to be posting there that they're welcome to do. There's no requirements or accountability measures for these activities, but we've been having a lot of families asking for things that their kids can do that are considered review and enrichment type of things. Those things are coming. The teachers have been diligently working on those today, and we'll finish them off tomorrow. And then Mr. McCormick will have them posted on our site. Should be easy to follow on the site as well. That once it's posted there, you'll be able to click on the grade levels or If you're at the high school level, the content area, like whether it be science, social studies, music, art, whatever. And you'll see things that you can do at home. Again, there's no accountability measures to those. Certain FAPE requirements prohibit us from being able to continue instruction, as we can't guarantee that every student has accessibility. However, we are able to provide things for students to be able to get engaged with and work on during this time. And those things are coming and will be coming very soon.
Okay, for President's report, just like to report, I attended a virtual meeting or webinar last week for the PSBA Cyber Task Force, at which time we had the CEO of Commonwealth Cyber Charter School as our guest speaker, and he gave us a good full hour of his view of the value of cyber schools. And we tried to be polite. Intermediate unit report.
Well, the intermediate unit is like in the same boat, you know, that we are too, trying to see how we go through all of this process. They're trying to assist districts in processing the new guidance and meeting their mission of creating solutions for this situation. So I guess everybody's just playing it by ear or day by day. So hopefully we get some more direction of how we can proceed.
We can certainly sympathize with their plight as well as ours.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Petrowski.
You're welcome.
Superintendent's report.
We don't, for numerous reasons. We do not have any presentations at this time. However, I do want to open the floor. You were given at the last update the budget summaries from our athletic director, Serena Henry, and from Mr. Wall, Mark Wall, the buildings and grounds director. So if there are some questions or discussion that needs to occur, that this would be the time to do that. Any questions you do have, while we can discuss them now, I would also encourage you to email them to Mr. Allen, and he will formulate a list of those so that we can get further answers from Mr. Wall and Mrs. Henry for the next meeting for you. So if you have any questions from those documents that were sent.
The thing that I have a concern, they have this year's budget summary, but we have no historical data to go with it. So I'd like to see, and I would assume most everybody else would like to see the historical data from at least the prior year.
Mr. Enders. Can
I
you
believe the historical data should be in the budget binders, but I'll double check that.
Well, there is for the plant, buildings and grounds, but not for athletics.
cut out there for a moment, Mr. Kinley? You said there is for buildings and grounds and the plant type stuff, but not for the athletic budget, is that correct?
Correct.
Can you make sure that get that? Thank you, Mr. Enders. So would you like to follow up on that discussion to the next meeting, Mr. Allen? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
or?
that would be fine with me. I think it's we're doing well to just keep this meeting together tonight as our first virtual meeting. But certainly, if anybody else has any other questions or concerns about those two budgets, as Dr. Dady said, if you'll send those to me, and I'll get them back out to the school district.
That might be a little better anyway, just so that if you guys have questions, we're able to probably have the answers for you for the next meeting as well. That was the only thing on the superintendent's report, Mr. Allen.
Okay. And then at this point, we'll move on to courtesy of the floor. And subject to agreement by everybody else, I'd like to we don't have a sign-in sheet for tonight, so I'd be willing to accept anybody courtesy of the floor, merge both the agenda item courtesy as well as the general courtesy of the floor that we normally do at the end of the meeting into one courtesy of the floor. Any objections to that?
No.
Hearing no objections, if there is any callers on the line, Dr. Dady?
All right, if anyone, the way that this is working tonight, it's posted on the door. It's also posted on our website that there is a phone set up that the technology department is manning right now, and we'll make sure that your question gets aired. The number that you can call, if you have not seen the number on the site or at the front, is 570-398-5576. The last four digits were 5576. Now, we do need to give you a few moments to call in because there is a delay with the streaming. So, Board, if you would just remain patient for a minute, we'll see if anyone calls in. 0-398-5576. Last four digits were 5576. Now, we do need to give you a few moments to call in because there is a delay with the streaming. So, Board, if you I'm just confirming with Pat whether anyone's calling. No one has called yet. We'll give it another 30 seconds or so. I'll also tell Pat to let me know if someone calls in later if you want to give them the chance to talk at the end.
That's fine.
Mr. Allen, no one has called in at this time. If you want to continue with the meeting, if anyone does call in, I will let you know.
Okay, we'll go ahead and suspend courtesy of the floor at this time, but we won't necessarily close it until the end of the meeting.
Will do.
Okay, moving on to personnel, we have items A through D. We have a motion and a second.
I'm not hearing any of your stuff here.
Ken,
So
we're getting a call.
Can you identify?
Nancy.
Thank you.
Never mind, hung up.
Second.
I'm gonna mute that mic so that we can talk.
Is she the person that just took the tech position?
We have a second.
Yeah, Wayne did.
Okay,
I have a question.
questions?
Is she the person that just took the tech position?
Yes, she is. She applied for this position the same time that she applied, because this position's been open for a while. She applied for this before that. This is the position she desires, even though technically she's taking a reduced salary to do so.
So she won't leave the position that she's in now in the tech position until July. So there's
Right.
enough time to train somebody new coming in before she leaves to take the other position.
Correct.
Right. Okay, that's good. Okay, that was my question.
And just to dovetail on that, Mrs. Dober,
Yes,
she'll be working beginning July 1st. She'll be working with the current tax administrator that's in that position now, is going to stay with us for 3 months. So It's not kind of a 3-month apprenticeship.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. There are no further questions. Could we have a roll call, Mr. Enders?
Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mrs. Dobler,
Yes.
Mrs. Grant,
Yes.
Mr. Kinley,
Yes.
Mrs. Petrosky,
Yes.
Mrs. Stemler,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
9-0.
Mr. Allen, we did have a caller call in. We didn't get them on the line, so this person actually reached out to me and asked if I would just share. It's Allie Confer from Limestone Township, that she just wanted to let you guys know that she thinks this is great and that you guys are doing a great job doing this virtually.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Okay, moving on. We have nothing under curriculum instruction, nothing under building and grounds. Moving on to finance, which is a resolution for the general obligation bonds. And there was an attachment. Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Who was
Can
that?
you identify?
Wayne Kinley.
Thank you.
Second?
I'll second it. Patrice.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions or discussion?
So generally, this is doing what? Allowing them to go follow through, or they did already do this?
This motion is allowing them to proceed with the actual refunding of the bonds. Last time, the motion that was made at the last meeting was them to put this paperwork together. So this is basically the motion that does everything for the refunding.
So they haven't done that yet?
No.
Okay.
And Mr. Enders, could you just give a quick summary of what this is about for any new viewers for tonight's meeting, and a reminder for the newspaper if they're on the line?
So as presented at the last meeting, there was an opportunity to do a refunding of our 2017 debt to garner lower interest rates to get a savings for the district. The net savings to the district under the parameters is $100,000. That will be spread over the remaining life of the debt. This will not extend the life of the debt. This will keep the same end date as with the original debt will be. So this is truly a savings from lower interest rates.
Okay, any other questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll move through a roll call vote again, Mr. Enders.
Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mrs. Dobler,
Yes.
Mrs. Grant,
Yes.
Mr. Kinley,
Yes.
Mrs. Petrosky,
Yes.
Mrs. Stemler,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
9-0.
Okay, move on to miscellaneous. We have, at this point, items A through J, because item K was approved previously. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Mary?
Second, Nancy.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions, concerns, comments?
I have a question.
Letters H, I, and J. Do we need them? Especially I? Is there a reason that they're being put in there? I mean, why can't we carry on business without those 3 additions in there? I don't have them in front of me because I don't have my agenda. I can't see it. But I did look them over and I didn't understand why they were there. If somebody could explain why we need those 3 in place.
I will tell you that they're being approved by other districts as well, but I'm going to have, these are recommendations from, that's coming from McCormick Law, so I'm going to let Chris speak to this.
So these were recommended in the event that we couldn't. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Not really.
Yes.
Yep.
Here, I'll step.
Mary doesn't.
So these are all being recommended in the event that we actually have to cancel a meeting. These are not in an attempt to kind of circumvent the board procedures. When the recommendation was made, we weren't 100% sure that we would be able to go virtual like we are. So their anticipation of the event that we can't always conduct a meeting in this manner during the pandemic, as it's been expressed by the governor, and it puts everything in place so that if we have to cancel a meeting, we don't stop operating from an administrative standpoint. And again, this doesn't allow the administration to go out and enter into, the biggest thing I'd be concerned with is, and probably you guys as well, would be the idea of entering into a new collective bargaining agreement. This would not allow them to do that. It's just to conduct business as usual for the time period that the governor's order is in place. I would suspect that Dr. Dady would continue to keep the board updated relative to what is going on and any potential contracts for maybe emergency services or something that would have to be done that he wouldn't be able to immediately get board approval like we normally would.
Harry, I'm just as concerned about it as you are, especially the
I is the one I'm concerned about, entering into contracts, agreements, MOUs. That's my big one, I guess.
And we're hoping to not have to utilize that at all. But again, I believe these things, when I start asking Chris questions about this, I believe it's kind of the doomsday scenario that, just kind of like with us being able to get this up, had we not been able to, how would we be able to function and continue business if we couldn't get board meetings in place? So that's all this is for. I can tell you, Harry, that I'm not interested in utilizing I, and that wouldn't be utilizing I unless you guys were aware of it.
And just to kind of add to that, everybody, that the language as drafted is consistent generally with the Emergency Services or Management Services Act, which is what the governor utilized to issue his order and proclamation. That act in of itself, even without this resolution, would allow the district to do those types of things anyways on an emergent basis so that there's no interruption in emergency services to the district. So
In regards to
Go ahead.
In regards to letter J, I'll just tell the board that that is an item that is on our meetings in June when we only have one meeting in July, and also on the agenda for December when we only have one meeting in December. So that one's kind of a standard process when we're meeting.
So basically, let me get this straight. When we look at these, when we look at H, we're talking during this period where the government has ordered shutdowns, etc. And I and J, from my perspective, fall under that, not as separate units. Am I looking at it wrong? Because they should not be individual and separate. They should all be part of that letter H and all be together there. Because it only should be happening during the time period that we're under this government's order for March the 19th, or any extension thereof.
I would agree. Mary.
So can I make a motion to make I and J and H all one motion? I'd like to amend the motion so that those two fall under the premise of the shutdown.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I think the motion would be, Mary, is to amend I and J to read similar to, or include that effective period, or that it would be during the effective period of the governor's order dated March 20 and any subsequent order thereof, just so that it.
Oh, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. So I'm going to add that last phrase there to both I and J. So I make a motion to do that. The effective period, add the effective period of the governor's order dated March 19, 2020, and any subsequent orders issued thereof on I and on J.
Did you get that, Ben? Starting with the word during?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Mrs. Petrosky, are you agreeable to that amendment?
Yes.
Okay.
Chris, I have a question
Yes.
while you're there.
Absolutely.
Angela.
As it pertains to H, I just want to make sure that I'm reading it correctly. As I read it, it's stating that we are not to have any executive sessions. Am I interpreting that correctly?
No, so that is just saying from an executive session standpoint, you can conduct your executive sessions electronically as well, similar to this format here. The idea is obviously keeping in mind that you might, during the superintendent search, the interview process, which is technically an executive session, you would still be able to conduct those via the telephonic or some other video conferencing means.
Okay. Thank you.
And any other questions, anybody, for me?
Okay, so we have a motion and a second for items A through J as amended for I and J, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, we'll record a roll call. Mr. Enders?
Mr. Beck,
Yes.
Mr. Berngard,
Yes.
Mrs. Dobler,
Yes.
We missed the last one, Ben.
Yeah.
I got Mrs. Dobler as a yes, Mrs. Grant,
Yes.
Mr. Kinley,
Yes.
Mrs. Petrosky,
Yes.
Mrs. Stemler,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
9-0.
And I'd like to thank on item G, the Jersey Shore Borough for moving so quickly on allowing our middle school students to use the soccer field, even though they're precluded by the governor from using it, at least if the middle school season or practices are conducted at some point, they'll be able to immediately have access to that field. And congratulate Dr. Dady also on leading the district's representation at the meeting with the Borough Council. Okay. You have nothing under old business. Are there any other callers for a second courtesy of the floor?
No, Pat was to call or text me if any other callers came in, and I have nothing from him.
Okay, thank you. In that case, we have no other agenda items for this evening. We do have an executive session for legal and personnel to follow this meeting, after which there'll be no additional business conducted.
I need everyone not to talk for a few minutes till Pat lets me know that that you're offline. Okay. All right, I'm gonna stay on the line with you until you.